Hi, my name is Mark Bernard. I'm a monetary economist. In this video, I want to specifically talk about Poland, America, Ukraine, and Russia. Poland, it appears, is a new geopolitical target for Russia. It's not new, it's old, but let's talk about the Polish president and his planned trip to Washington to meet the U.S. president. And I'm going to preempt that with a quote. First, I'll quote it in Polish, and you guys see why I don't do a geopolitical channel in Polish. I can speak Polish, but maybe I need to improve it a little bit. Okay, Andrzej Duda, the president of Poland, said, bez amerykańskiego wsparcia Ukraina nie przetrwa tej wojny. Okay? That means without American help, Ukraine won't survive this war. That is a Russian talking point to support the American president's idea of extracting wealth like a colonial power from Ukraine. Just like I've mentioned in Les Miserables, there was a character, Fatina, I believe, who everybody had to just took advantage of her. She had to sell her teeth and her hair just to survive. So that's what we're talking here. So why did Duda make this comment? Ukraine is a great supporter of, Poland is a great supporter of Ukraine, and Ukraine is a great supporter of Poland. I love these countries. First, you have to understand the president of Poland is not like a president of the United States. He does not hold the power. He's more like, cutting ribbons and a spokesman. He does have power, of course. It's not just honorific like the Queen of England or the King of England. It has real power, but the real power is in the prime minister. But this vocalization of these types of words, like Ukraine won't survive, is a very negative commentary. It's a negative narrative that I don't like to see because it's untrue. First, let's continue to go into that. The master plan of Moscow is to divide and conquer. Hungary, Slovakia, they're targeting Romania big time. Oligarchs are coming in, buying things, buying influence. And I just spoke to somebody in Krakow who's Romanian. He's a philosopher, and he discussed this. Maybe I'll have him on. And Poland is definitely the target because Poland is a citadel. It's a stronghold, fortress Europe because of Poland. It stands as a bulwark against Russian aggression. And yet we have the president of Poland who's, in the past, he was more like, I'm Catholic, so a lot of Catholics, including myself, liked a few of his stances and this popularism, but he's gone too far now. If he's going to that, I'll call it manga, like the Japanese animation cartoon, manga, I specifically mispronounced the word, that dog and pony show in Washington, that manga dog and pony show, and just embracing the orchestrators of the Japanese animation manga and saying that Ukraine's not going to survive without the big bad American bear, then I don't think that's appropriate type of language he should be voicing. A better language was Ukraine will be victorious. Moscow's wrong. That was a despotic imperial war criminal that invaded a free, sovereign, peaceful country. That's the type of language he says, and we're going to support that country to the end. Now, some of the rationale might be Poland gets a lot of these HIMARS and a lot of bases are popping up all over Poland, U.S. troops even, I think. At least personnel will say, not troops. So Duda, he wants to have this security blanket of the United States. But remember in World War II, first they came for these people, then they came for these other people, and then they came for me. I wouldn't count on that. I wouldn't count on the American blanket. I know he's getting a lot of defensive support, and this is where we buy our defensive weapons from is the U.S., but I would not count on that in the current geopolitical situation right now. So when Duda is making this comment, so I read it in Polish again, butcher it again, bez amerykańskiego wsparcia Ukraina nie przetrwa tej wojny, when he makes that comment, and that was the exact words, I wanted to quote it, primary source document, that Ukraine can't stand on its own. That's, in my mind, propaganda or a political Russian talking point. And it's tragic because Ukraine can. Of course, now they're talking about removing, you know, removing things and other, Skynet or whatever it's called. I just slipped my mind from Ukraine, and Ukraine won't be able to compensate for this, but they can. Because in chess, when you play the game of chess, the best chess players know it's not what white does. It's also what black does. When you have your plan and when you have your strategy and you build your fortress, first you bring knights before bishops, and then you bring out your pawn, and then you create this pawn structure, you create this immense defensive structure. Black is already chipping away at you. You can't rest on your laurels. You can't say that we're going in this direction because black's going to go in that direction. So take a lesson, Ukraine, from chess and don't listen to this negative narrative popping up. And I know where that's popping up from. It's popping up from, the Kremlin's ally in Washington. Don't see through it. Awareness is basically synonymous with free will and free choice. I've talked about this. I refer you to Martin Gardner, The Night is Large, and he makes that point, but I don't have to reiterate it, that without awareness, you don't have free will. The world has to be aware of the geopolitical plays in power, that Moscow is taking the Trojan horse and sending it to Europe and telling people that we need this American support. Yes, it would be great. Yes, it would be wonderful. Yes, I want it. But I can't count on, you can't count on it. Maybe the best strategy for Ukraine is to prolong these negotiations and talk so the USA keeps on flowing in. And then at some point when they've built up their army of drones that they can stand even stronger, then we can, feel a little bit more secure about Ukraine standing. And Europe will be gearing up its industrial complex to support Ukraine. And I think they should. I mean, if I was the president of Poland, I'm a Polish citizen. If I was the president of Poland, I would say, hey, Ukraine, we'll support you 110%. We'll give you everything you need. And maybe bring the French in too, French and Polish, and say, we'll give you everything you need to blow out this evil that's encroached upon humanity. You want to make a deal with minerals? Make it with Poland. Make it with France. We believe in fairness and justice. St. Thomas Aquinas, that's, fair transaction, not taking advantage of transaction in the, in the age of wooden ships and iron men and mercantilism. If you think, and again, I'm an American, and I want to tell you something about being an American. When I'm an American abroad, I have to watch myself. I want to have to be more respectful. Even when I was like young and beautiful and, got here with, smiling at all the beautiful people here, I wanted to be respectful to the people because they have a lot of respect for Americans. They watch American movies. They believe that America is the nexus and center of this freedom. They believe it's an economic power. They're very grateful to Americans all over the world. So as an American, in one sense, I'm informal. Every single American living abroad, you know that you're an informal ambassador for America. Okay, so I want you to understand that just because somebody in Washington might be a Trojan horse, I don't know if you read those leaks, in those posts. I think it's a little speculative. Doesn't mean America feels that way. It doesn't mean I feel that way. And remember, the president did not get 51% of the votes. He got like 49 point something percent of the votes because we have some, smaller candidates. So don't feel it's like all Americans. And even if it was, you're going to still stand for what is good and just. So to conclude this, let's watch in the next week what the Polish president does and says in Washington when he travels there to this manga conference, okay? And why he is going there and embracing these guys. What is he thinking in his own mentality? I trust statements coming more from Sikorski, the Polish foreign minister, rather than the president at this juncture. And my message for Ukraine is stand strong. You're going to win no matter what because light wins over darkness. And as an economist, understand that Ukraine is planning behind the scenes quietly. They're not like a chess player who's announcing, oh, I'm going to take your queen. Oh, I'm going to sack your king. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know how Ukraine is planning this. Okay? And yes, we want American help, but let's watch and see how this unfolds. My name is Mark Bernard. I'm a monetary economist. Have a great day. Thank you very much.